Hi everyone, it is a pleasure to have you all here in the MicroK8s office hours. Today, it's a special pleasure that we have with us Aayush, who's going to tell us about how to get started with MicroK8s. Aayush is a great advocate of MicroK8s and Kubernetes in general. We are very happy to have him as part of our community. Aayush, the stage is yours.
Yeah, thank you, Cos. Uh, Today we are here. We'll understand the basics of MicroK8s. Why, what are the benefits of MicroK8s? Some valuable add-ons. Not all of them, but the most important ones. And then we'll see a little demo of how to set up our Kubernetes dashboard or multi-node cluster in MicroK8s. It won't be that big of demo, but let's see how it goes. Right. So Cos has already introduced me, but just a quick introduction from my side. I'm a junior developer evangelist at MicroK. I'm also a student from India. Currently, I'm pursuing computer science engineering. I'm an ambassador at Solo and Cube Simplify. I am involved with various communities such as MicroK8s, Cube Simplify, and also I also have my own community named Super Contributors. Uh, I have contributed to projects like Captain, Solo, and Kubernetes. So these are my Twitter and GitHub. If you folks would like to connect with me or you know uh, deep dive more into MicroK8s with me, you can have a ping me there. So moving on to the introduction to MicroK8s. So MicroK8s is a lightweight Kubernetes distribution which was made by Canonical, and it is basically designed to run on your local systems, right? It is the smallest and the fastest multi-node Kubernetes, right? If you jump into the other options for Kubernetes distributions, this might end up to be the fastest, as we'll see in a while how it is the fastest, because as I have a Mac machine and I don't need to, let's say, run a VM and then access the MicroK8s. It would just be a single command, and it's good to go for MicroK8s. And as I said, just a single command would do it, so it is easy to set up as well. Again, I'll bring out this point that because it doesn't need a VM to spin up, so it doesn't take time, and very easy to get into for very easy to set up the cluster and start working. So it the easy setup and the fastest or the fast production, it helps in decreasing the complexity of management, deployment, and also scaling of containerized applications. Uh, this all these factors which I mentioned, it can be furthermore helpful for smooth transition of Kubernetes, right? It is MicroK8s is again distributed over operating systems, so it is available in Linux, as it was basically made for Linux, and also on Mac OS and Windows. Some operating system might require multipass to access it, but mostly it is available on on all the distributed systems, right? Again, it is CNCF certified, so it is basically an upstream Kubernetes, uh, and it completely it operates on your on workstation completely, right? Not only it is available for let's say local development or for production purposes, but also it jumps to various fields, such as it can be used in IoT, or it is so vastly used in DevOps, and also some other industries such as CI/CD or such. Uh, it is also you can also make an edge deployments in embedded systems using MicroK8s, which is also supported by MicroK8s. And all these things are possible because of only Snap packaging. So Snap is a let's say this distribution or a virtual environment which helps you access MicroK8s, right? Uh, the Kubernetes or the MicroK8s also has automatic updates. Automatic updates, as if, let's say, there is a new release in Kubernetes upstream repo in the base. So it will automatically update your cluster, and you don't need to manually update it to the latest version of Kubernetes, right? So this was all about MicroK8s. I'll keep looking at this side of the camera because I have the presentation here. So a little pardon me for that. I have a basic implementation of diagram on to explain you on how the MicroK8s works. So let's say this is the operating system you have, and using Snap, you install MicroK8s in your local system. Now, snapd is interface between the upstream Kubernetes and your Snap, let's say, node or the MicroK8s node. So whenever there is a a MicroK8s install command, so what it will do is Snap will bring in MicroK8s, and snapd will help you to pull out all the data from Kubernetes upstream and help you access the functionality of Kubernetes. If you are talking about, we'll talk in depth about MicroK8s add-on. So just the basic outline of MicroK8s add-on. Whenever you try to enable an add-on, it directly comes into the MicroK8s node, right? So this was the basic understanding of MicroK8s through a diagram. Let's say this was for basic Linux operating system. Now, let's say if you have any host operating system. So this part of the operating system will act as a guest, and you will have a host operating system above it, which would be, let's say, Mac OS or Windows, right? Now, if we move to the next part, wherein we'll discuss about the benefits of MicroK8s. As I have mentioned it earlier, a lot of times it does not require a VM to run. So and the reason behind it, why it doesn't require a VM to run, because it was originally intended for Linux, and so the basic structure of it was only the functionality or working on the Linux. So it doesn't require any VM or to spin up a VM and then go for the further processes. So which is a time saver for you. So rather than going for the VM, it is installed as a Snap package, which we discussed just in the previous slide. So the next benefit would be it has diverse integrations and resources. So MicroK8s is also ideal for edge deployments. So we'll talk about not requiring a VM in most of the benefits, because that's a huge plus point in itself, right? So it doesn't require any VM, so it is also able to access easily at deployments as well. Now, if you're talking about the next benefit, it's isolated environment, right? So if you visit the MicroK8s website, it's completely written there that MicroK8s is a zero ops, pure upstream Kubernetes from developer workstations to production, right? So what basically this means is that it will provide you a complete isolated environment to work on, or for both local development and for the production cases, which is again plus point for using a MicroK8s. The next point is it has high-level add-ons. So out of various add-ons which are provided on MicroK8s, we'll discuss queuing in the next slide. So some basic add-ons which are let's say Ingress or Kubernetes Dashboard is the common one, which is with all and Portainer. There are various add-ons which we'll discuss in the next slide. Next is high availability support. So in MicroK8s, when you go for multi-node setup, so let's say if you are setting up 3 or more nodes, high availability is immediately activated. You don't need to manually activate it. It is automatically activated for the HA clustering, and the data stored is it automatically switches between the node whenever there is a case of failure. So when a node is lost, HA MicroK8s can continue to offer reliable services and lower production needs with a minimum of overhead and important work, right? So this is let's say, I would say the most benefit or the most beneficial part of MicroK8s. Now, the next would be lightweight. Again, talking on that point, it doesn't require a VM, or it's very fast, so it would be lightweight, because if you're going for a VM, you would need let's say separate memory allocations, and then you will go for uh, installing various functionalities in that VM, and then it would again ask for more resources from your local system. But that doesn't require, in most cases in MicroK8s, this is not needed. So this is why it is lightweight and also fast. Also, it is distributed in various varieties of fields, as I talked about. Definitely, it is for DevOps. It is for IoT applications, and not only this, but it can be also used in AI/ML or CI/CD, as I talked earlier. And when compared to other options, it provides a significant amount of effort to configure. Right. Let's say if you're talking about other distributions, it would require a lot of effort to configure all these with different fields, but MicroK8s here comes as a benefit for you. It doesn't require that much of laboring effect. Like now, if we that's all was for the benefits of MicroK8s. Now, if we talk about the valuable add-ons, now there are various add-ons available for MicroK8s. These are some of the picked, or which I should say is the most used one, or let's say are very important. So first is it's core DNS. So core DNS is basically, it provides you an address resolution to Kubernetes, and this is why core DNS is actually deployed, right? So this add-on is important for other functionalities as well in your MicroK8. So maximum or most of the functionalities do require core DNS, so it is the most valuable one. Now, when we come to Cert Manager, it is again a certificate controller for Kubernetes cluster. Dashboard is giving you a functionality to access Kubernetes dashboard, which is a beautiful UI for managing your Kubernetes cluster, right? Ingress, as I talked about earlier, Ingress is another functionality where you will get an Ingress controller where you can access the outside data as well to direct to your Kubernetes cluster. Default, if you are talking about the default structure, MicroK8s provides an Nginx ingress controller. And the last and the most biggest one is the community. So in the community add-on, as I talked about earlier, there are various add-ons which are provided, container and such. So community add-on is a list of add-ons which is provided to you by MicroK8s. There are various add-ons which you can again use in, and to make this add-on to work with your cluster, you just need to hit MicroK8s enable and the name of the add-on, and you're good to go, right? So I'll show you the links to the GitHub repository as well of these add-ons, where you can, if you are someone who is looking to contribute or enhance this the working of the add-ons, you can maybe go in there and or see the list of add-ons. If you are an add-on, you can work on there. So we'll see that in the last part of the demo, right? So as I talked about, MicroK8s is very easy to bring into your local system. So the ease of setting up MicroK8s is that since the basic deployment of the Kubernetes distributions are done on Linux, we'll talk about the Linux part here. So you just need to install Snap in your Linux, whichever distribution you are using. Install MicroK8s, using Snap. After installing, just check if your MicroK8s is running or is down. So if it's not running, just troubleshoot it and bring it in the running state. Enable the add-on which you want to use for your production cases, and that's it, and you are good to go. So now we'll jump into the demo. At first we'll see how we can bring in the Kubernetes dashboard, and after that we'll see the multi-node cluster setup. I will do the Kubernetes dashboard thing live, and I have a recorded part of multi-node setup cluster, right? So as I was talking to you earlier, that it doesn't require any VM. So I'll do this. I'll just hit MicroK8s install, and it will start installing into my local system, right? Just give it a few seconds until it's completely installed. So if you're talking about the Mac thing, it brings in the default VM named MicroK8s VM into your system. So let's just wait and see how it until it starts.
Ayush, one thing, can you make the font bigger because it is
Yeah,
very small at least for me.
yeah. Is it visible now?
Yeah, it is good. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Should I increase the font or it's okay now?
I can't see it, so I don't know for the rest of the people.
Anyone who is not able to see or the font is less for you, you can just tell me. I'll increase it more. I hope everyone is able to see now. So just a few seconds until MicroK8s is installed into your system. Uh, uh, until this is installed, let me just show you quickly the repositories which you can visit for for the add-ons, right? So if you just go to GitHub uh, and search for MicroK8, let's say add-ons or community add-ons are differently there. So this is a website for community add-ons. Just click it, and here you will find the community add-ons for MicroK8s, right? So this is the add-ons, and here are all the list of the add-ons which are available for MicroK8s in the community section, right? I hope that is installed. Yeah, so it's up and running. What we'll do is we'll check the status. So we'll see the status of MicroK8s. It shows here that it is up and running, but still we'll check it. Uh, so it is running, right? I was talking about high availability. When you will go for multi-node clustering, let's say if you have 3 or more nodes, it will automatically turn on the high node or HA for you, right? So we have MicroK8s running now. Now we have to see the dashboard, right? So there's a very basic command to enable any add-on in MicroK8s. It's MicroK8 enable, and we want to enable dashboard, right? So you just hit dashboard. We'll hit enter, and it will start making or enabling the dashboard for single node cluster for you. It has done the process. Now to run the dashboard, you just need to hit MicroK8s dashboard proxy, right? So if it's checking if dashboard is running, we have enabled already here. It's taking or fetching from the repositories which just check. It's not in the community one, but there are various other repositories which contain separate, contains the add-ons. So it's fetching from there and also preparing a dashboard for us. This might take few seconds again, and it will show you, direct us to the link where our dashboard is running. If your RBAC is not enabled, it will give you a token to access your dashboard. It will display it here. So the next step would be the link which is shown here by the MicroK8s to visit. Just visit that link. Copy the token from here, paste it on the asked credential, and then you will be able to access your dashboard. So it is up and running again. So this is the link where our dashboard is available. This is the token which we need to access the dashboard. We'll just copy it, go to this link. So this came into my second screen. I have to just bring it here. This is the a link or the dashboard link. We'll go to here. We'll enter the token. We'll sign in, and here it is. The dashboard is running. We have nothing to display right now because we have not done any such let's say production in this cluster. It's just the basic or default. So I'll go to all namespaces. It will show all the default functionalities which is being installed while setting up, and the node we have it here is MicroK8s we have. So this is how you can go for Kubernetes dashboard. I have a recorded demo for multi-node, but if you have any questions still dashboard, you can ask me now. Okay, so I'll go for the multi-node thing. If you have any, you can drop in the chat box for the meeting. Also, I think I missed the part for installing the MicroK8s. So if you just go to MicroK8s website, official website, here you can find the steps for installing MicroK8s in your system. So I ran the part after installing the MicroK8s. I did this step already, and from here I began the demo. Right. So now let's quickly jump into the multi-node setup thing. So here it is. I'll just mute this. Okay. So what I'm doing here is I'm using multipass to launch a VM. For multi-node setup, you do require VM, because only in that way you will be able to produce a multi-node cluster. So I'm launching a VM with this amount of memory for GB, and this location of disk for TGB, and then so I have split the terminal here, and I'm producing two VMs, right? So one is check, which is here, and another I will do is for check one. So yeah, so here it is. The check one is prepared, right? The first one which we launched using VM, using multicast, sorry, and it is ready. So what I will do now next is I'll shell it. I'll go into that VM by using multipass shell and the name of the VM which I created, right? So I am into the VM, and now I'll see if MicroK8s is working or not. So I'll just hit MicroK8s, and here you will see that the MicroK8 is not installed. So we have to manually install it. We'll hit sudo install, sudo snap install MicroK8s and the classic version. So classic version allows you to both edit and read into the VM or into the MicroK8s node. So after this, it will start installing. These steps which I am doing it here, the same steps, it needs to be done into the next VM as well. So again, I'll install or shell into check one VM, install MicroK8s, and I see that it is installed now. So then our next step would be to see if my MicroK8s is working or not. So again, I'll check the status. So while running the status, you might get this error where you will see that you don't have permissions to access MicroK8s. So one such way to avoid this error is to just go sudo su, which will give you the root permissions, and then you can access you can start using MicroK8s. Or then another step is another alternative method is which I've done in the demo. Just make a .q file, right? Copy these two commands, paste it into your terminal, and then make a new group of MicroK8s, right? After doing this, you will see that the MicroK8 is up and running for you. Again, these steps need to be done in both of the VMs. And again, see, I'm doing it for the check one now. So all the steps are done. Now, let's say if you want to add a node of check one to check, right, for multi-node clustering. So what you have to do is you have to run a command, MicroK8s add node in the check VM. I'll just do it here. Oh, it went. I think it's here. Just a second. Yeah. Yeah, it's here. So I came into the check VM. I ran MicroK8s add node, and it's showing me the complete instruction on how to add a node, right? So this is the command MicroK8s join. It will give you the IP of this VM, and a port number, and then let's say a binded address, right? You just don't need to do anything. Just copy this MicroK8s join, go into your second VM and paste it. That's all. But here you will see an error in my terminal that it cannot join because you don't have an access to that IP. This VM does not have access to IP, right? So this is the error, that contacting cluster at this IP, but connection failed because check1 doesn't have the permission to join it. To avoid this error, what you can do is you can go back to the check1. You can run sudo, edit the host file of your VM, and in there you just need to get the IP of your second VM and paste it into the VM where you want to add the node. As you can see, when or if you want to check how many VMs are up and running, just hit multi-pass list and it will show you which all VMs are running in your system. MicroK8s VM is the default one, which comes in which we saw the Kubernetes dashboard. These two are the one which I just created for multi-node setup, right? So you have the IP of check1 here. You just need to copy this IP and paste it here with the following with the name of the VM. So this is the IP. Here is the name of the VM where you want to add the node, and you are good to go. So create a new link for by running MicroK8s add node. You'll get a it's good to have a new link. Here I am doing is if I'm double checking if the link is added. So it's added here. I'll do MicroK8s add node. I'll get the link. I'll go to check1 and I'll paste it. Right. So it will show you that it is contacting the cluster at this IP, and eventually at this moment it's still joining. I'll just to show you, I'm just hitting the MicroK8s kubectl get nodes to show you how many nodes are there currently. So it's only one node, and the process is still going on. So it's joining the node and to finish the multi-node setup clustering. And in here it has finished joining, and when you hit it again, you see the two nodes, right? So this was the basic setup of multi-node, and I'm using my macOS as an operating system. Yeah, and that's it for today's demo, I guess. Oh, I have YouTube open. Where is that? Where is my? Yeah, it's here. And thank you, folks, for giving me the opportunity. Thanks to MicroK8s team for giving me an opportunity to share what I have learned till now in MicroK8s.
Thank you for coming to our community meeting and giving this great talk. Thank you very much.
Well, I wanted to say a few things, not questions, but some sharing. So we have two types of add-ons. So one is core add-ons. Those are maintained by Canonical, by our team. And then we have the community add-ons that it is maintained by our partners or by the community. But the possibility is there is that anyone can have like a community add-on. So it is open for contributions, and you can create your own. And the second thing I wanted to have to share is that if you are trying your own MicroK8 cluster and you started to struggle or to see issues, in MicroK8s GitHub, we are checking the reported issues by our customer. It doesn't need to be like a extremely technically complex, so we are treating all the issues equally. And you can go there to the issues tab and then create a new issue, and then we will try to support you on the best possible way. One last thing I didn't see on the demo is that when you have the 3 nodes already in a cluster, at the beginning you show that it says like high availability no, and then when you have the 3 nodes, it should show like a high availability yes. So I was expecting to see that thing. So
maybe in the next one I'll go for high availability one. Yeah.
But so, very nice presentation. So thank you.
Just learning from you folks.